Hey guys, it's Amy here. It is actually the third Monday of June. I don't know how that happened, but I hope you guys are all doing well and that our doTERRA dads had a fantastic Father's Day. Um, Today we're going to touch on the importance of understanding the quality of essential oils. So let me do this really quickly here and manage. Here we go. I'm going to mute you all for now. All right, here we go. So let's talk about quality for a little bit here. So quality is one of the first things that I noticed was an interesting issue when I realized that not all essential oils were created equally. I realized this because I was using lavender from a local health food store. I was hoping to relax and calm down at night. And so I was using it faithfully. I never saw really any difference, but I kept using it, hoping one day it would kick in. And when I started seeing a new physical therapist, she started using doTERRA's lavender on me. And there was an immediate difference. I noticed how it was affecting me and calming me and relaxing me. It was instant. And so that was when I found out that not all essential oils are created equally. And this is really important for us to be sharing whenever we're talking to somebody and educating somebody about essential oils. Some of you have told me, oh, no, I'm not a teacher, I'm not an educator. But if you are sharing about essential oils, you are essentially teaching people how to use these things. And that's okay. Don't be scared by the word teacher, educator, or even leader, because people are looking for this option and they are in need of it. So don't be afraid of it. Again, you never have to know everything. doTERRA has so many tools and resources, especially online, that we can offer people. So never feel like you are alone. You have a team, and you also have a lot of resources from doTERRA directly. So that's what I'm going to do today, is kind of talk about quality and give you some of those resources. But sharing about the quality is really important. It's important because if you don't have pure oils, you can have some nasty side effects. And truly, with a pure essential oil, the only side effects that you really are going to find people are having are things like sensitive skin issues. You might find some red bumps. It might burn or tingle a little bit. And so in that case, it's important that you always have a carrier oil on hand. And those carrier oils are things like coconut oil, olive oil, almond, avocado oil, whatever you may have on hand. And if you start having a sensitive skin issue with one of the oils, just rub it over that area. The next thing you might see is photosensitivity. And so this is when you shouldn't be wearing specific oils out into the sun, because it can cause photosensitivity. And I'm not going to go into all of that. You can Google search what those things are and better understand that as you go. But those are some of the main things that you might find. And those are not deathly. They're not going to necessarily hurt you long term. It's just your body talking to you and processing the oils. So you need to listen to your body and figure out how better to use that oil in that situation. Okay. And so we want to educate people on exactly that. Let them know that yes, there are some of those issues, those sensitivities, but we know how to handle them. The back of the bottle talks about them. We need to make sure that people are using their oil safely with their family. And so let's talk really quickly about the industry here, the essential oil industry. It shocked me to find out that the regulation in the essential oil industry was extremely low. It's just not really existent. There is a label law. Unfortunately, in all of my research, I research every few months, trying to figure out what in the world is the actual law. I have never found it. I've never found an actual percentage of essential oil that has to be in that bottle in order for it to be labeled 100% pure. But I can tell you right now, that percentage is extremely low. So when I'm teaching a class, I don't go into all this detail like I'm going in with you, but I've chosen, so maybe grab a pen and paper and write down some of the top things that stick out to you that you feel your friends, your family, and yourself would find important for the safety and use of essential oils. And so that's exactly what I did. I learned some things about quality, and I wrote down some of the top things that really affected me and made me go, okay, people need to know this before they use their oils. So we need to know that the label law across the board is just, it's ridiculous. So I do share that the percentage of essential oil required to be 100% pure and natural directly from the plant, that percentage is extremely small. I don't have the number because I've never been able to find it. And that's a problem to me. That means there's something being hidden. If you find it, let me know. I would love to find it, but I've dug so deep trying to find these things. So I like to share that when talking about quality of the essential oils at my classes. And then talking more about doTERRA. What's that doTERRA difference then? Why is it important that the bottle is in fact 100% pure with all oil that's natural from the plant? Why is that important? Well, first of all, you want to make sure that there's no synthetics. Synthetics are not natural. So that's when you have a lot of side effects with your body. Okay, so some people might react to perfumes, they might react to lotions or things like that, candles even, because they're made with synthetic scents and things like that. So we want to stay away from that. That's a big part of purity. We want to make sure that there's no contaminants. That means outside contaminants that came in contact with the plant during growth or during distillation. So we need to make sure that none of those contaminants are in there, because also have side effects with those things. Those things might even include pesticides. So that's really very important in our growing process. Other things are additives or carrier oils that might dilute the oils, because if we're adding things just to make it smell great and make the consumer want to purchase it, well, those are more things that you can have reactions to, and they are just taking away benefits that you could be having from those essential oils. So I like to point that out at my classes as well when I'm talking about quality. Okay, so doTERRA, when they came together 8 years ago, they knew that the reason they wanted to create this company was purely so that they could have a higher standard. They knew that there was not another company out there that was reaching this far for this quality and purity. And that was important for them to make the oils safe for us to use on our newborn baby and our grandparents, right? So it's important for us to have that safety level to use on our whole family. And so they created this standard called the cptg, Certified Pure Therapeutic Grade Essential Oils. So when you get a bottle, it'll say 100% pure cptg, okay? And I do recommend you go online, you research all of that, research what that all means and all the tests that we go through. But ultimately, I do want you to know that this is not an industry standard, it's doTERRA's standard. It really doesn't mean anything to anyone else in the essential oil industry. It's just a standard that we created as a company so that we had a process to go by to get the quality that we desired. So we're not trying to say, oh, we're the only one with cptg, so therefore no one else is as good as us. We're not saying that. We're saying we created a standard that is so high that we had to name it, we had to label it, and only oils that pass these certain tests are going to be labeled as such. So just remember that. I have had some people attack me from other companies saying, oh, that doesn't mean anything. Well, it does mean something to me. It means that my company that I'm getting my oils from and entrusting has a process and they're committed to it. And that's important to me with quality. So what's that process? Well, first of all, these are some things I do like to touch on in my classes and one-on-ones. I like to tell people this is the difference. A lot of other companies are not doing this. Okay, so the first part of it is that we grow our essential oils, the plants, in their native land. This is important because we are believing that if we grow them in their native land, they're going to get the best seasons, the best climate, the best soil, and all the best of the best, so that that plant can grow to the best of its ability and offer as many benefits as possible. Okay, and so we've seen a difference in the benefits that we're getting from these oils because of this growing in their native land. The other part of that I love so much is the co-impact sourcing side of it. And this is basically a part of fair trade. And I think this is a beautiful part, a beautiful picture of what we can do in the world with such a large company and all these oils that we're growing literally all around the world. And so with co-impact sourcing, doTERRA can actually go into a community and sit down with the community and say to them, what do you guys need to make financially? What is it that you guys need to survive and to live well? And we can offer that to them. And in turn, of course, they're going to help take care of our product, and they take pride in their work. These are communities that have been growing these plants for ages. It's their legend. So this is a beautiful thing that we can offer them. So for example, in Haiti, we were able to offer them what they needed financially, but also we found out that, we found out that their children weren't going to school. And so because their children weren't going to school, we realized it was because they had to travel to get water for their families in the community. So we were able to help them build a water system so that they could send their children to school and not have to miss out on education. And so that was just an additional thing we were able to do for them. So this is something that brings that pride for them to help us with our quality side of things. Another thing that we do that is different for our quality purposes is we do all third-party testing. And so for those of you that don't know this, it's important that we do third-party testing. This is why it's important to me. I see the value in having accountability outside of the company. So we actually use, if you haven't heard the name Dr. Robert Pappas, he is amazing. He's a great resource. You can look him up online. His company's name is Essential Oil University, so you can find him. He has a website, and he also has an amazing Facebook page with a lot of information, and he's very honest and straightforward. And so you're not going to get any silly myths on oh, this will happen if you use this or anything like that. There's a lot of that going around. He tells you how it is, and it's awesome. So definitely look up Dr. Robert Pappas, Essential Oil University. And him and his company were the ones that we worked with to create our certified pure therapeutic grade standards. And even though he is not a part of doTERRA, we utilize his company, his labs, for testing. And we expect them that when they find a contaminant or an impurification, that they toss that oil off to another company who doesn't care about that purity, because we are not going to sell that. So I find that accountability to be extremely attractive, because there's no temptation for the company that's making money off of these oils to say, oh, the impurity was, it was little, so it's okay. Let's just go ahead and let it pass this time, right? So I found that attractive, and I think that's important. A lot of the other brands that I have researched, I have found that they do a lot of in-house testing, which is zero accountability, or half and half. And I mean, we do some in-house testing as well, but the majority of our testing is third party, and that is purely for contamination and making sure that all of the molecules and all the benefits that we're wanting are there and in place, okay? So this is really important to us for the quality purposes. So like I said in the beginning, it's important to know these things so that we can share them in our classes and one-on-ones, because a lot of people have asked me, well, I can just go to Amazon, right? Or go down the street to Whole Foods or something. So I'll just do that because I can use it today, right? And I say, you can do that, but let me tell you my experience. And I do talk about these things and let them know about the quality, let them know they can always research it. It's important to talk about the third-party testing because they can then research other brands that they're interested in and see what their testing practices are. And they now know how to research that before they invest and use on their families. And that's very important to me. The safety side of it is extremely important to me. So another part of that is giving them the tools and resources that they need. So I don't know how many of you guys have utilized a lot of doTERRA's resources online, or if you even know they're available. Right now, we're in the process of putting them all onto one page. I have one on the screen right now for those of you that are on the computer or watching the recording. This is doterrascience.com. doterrascience.com. And this is something I send people to all the time. So for example, when people are asking me about quality, and you're going to have people who they want to know more. They want to know the science and the chemistry, and I'm not that person. I do like to learn, but I'm not going to go sit down for 3 hours and learn about it. But I have people at my classes that are like, tell me more, and this is where I send them. There's research. There's some awesome topics, different topics about different uses. There's science, and then there's also safety. And the safety category is one that a lot of people need to go to. So if you have somebody asking you specifically about, well, what's safe for me to use internally? What if I use 3 drops internally? Is that safe, or is that too much? And so we want to make sure people are confident in using their oils in any which way. So if you go to the safety page, and there's also a search on the page as well, so you can search for internal use, and it'll bring up all the articles with that. And they have a live chat, by the way, so you can ask them, oh, I can't find this article. Can you send me the link? And they'll send it to you. But this is a great link to send to people, is the one that's talking about ideal amounts. So this is here. This is a resource that we can offer to people. So it literally says ideal amounts to use internally. So for an adult, ideally 2 to 4 drops at a time. However, you want to max it out in a 24-hour period at 12 to 24 drops. And I tell people, if you're small framed, you want to stick to the lower end of that. Kind of think of it as like an alcohol thing, because just remember, your body has to process these oils. They are potent. And so we do want to start slow and only add as needed, right? Just like with anything else, just common sense. And with a child, an ideal amount internally is 1 to 2 drops, and max in the 24 hours is 3 to 12 drops. Okay, so we're going to start small. And then it also talks about using it on your skin and all of that stuff. And there's a whole article here. This is an amazing tool for people. It's a great tool for us, but even more for other people to have this in their back pocket as they're sharing and as they're getting comfortable using their oils. So doTERRA has a lot of these tools and resources, and we need to utilize them, because we are not the tool. That's one thing I want you to know. we educate, we get people started with their oils. We want to talk about quality and safety, but we're not the tool and we're not the resource. So we want to be sure that we are not acting as such, because at 2 in the morning when their kiddo wakes up with anxious feelings and whatnot, they can't call us and say, what do I do? They have to know where to go find out what to do, right? So we need to give them those tools and resources. So doTERRAScience.com is going to be huge. I highly recommend maybe this week or next week, or for a few weeks, just start reading an article a day and you will learn so much. And then you'll know what is available to you to offer to other people as well as they ask questions. All right, and then the last thing I want to share, we talked a little bit about co-impact sourcing, but I wanted you guys to know that 80% of our farms and harvesters are exclusive to doTERRA. And I find that extremely exciting. That's our cutting edge. That's how many oils we are selling and using, because we can basically utilize an entire farm of vetiver. That's amazing, you guys. This is really exciting for a couple of reasons. One, exclusivity is important for our brand, but also for our quality. And then it's also important for our harvesters, because that means that those communities have job security. And it also shows us that when they have job security, that means we have job security, that our growth as a company is still happening. We're not too late. There's still more and more people looking for this option. So never think that your city is out of people to talk to or you've run out of people to share with, because they're there. We just have to keep our eyes open. We have so much to offer, and I hope you guys are confident in that. I hope that these calls are giving you the tools that you need. If you missed any of the call, I'll have the recording up on Facebook soon, and hopefully you'll feel confident in sharing about quality. All right, I'm going to open up the line if anybody has any questions. So let me unmute. I'm unmuting. Does anybody have any questions or anything that they need to chat about for a second?
Hi, good morning. It's Rain.
Hey, Rain.
Hey. No question. I just figured I might as well say something since it's open.
Yeah, no worries. I know some people feel the way you feel, and then some people are like, I don't want to talk. It's okay. Which is okay.
Yeah, but that's awesome. That's awesome information. Thank you.
Have you ever gone to the science webpage before?
I have, but like you mentioned, I don't sit there and spend a whole lot of time on it. But yes, I've been to the website and should probably